Oh yeah, this is a fun one. Let's do this one together. Cool. So I thought this was a really cute problem. I had to hunt around to find something like this. I had it in my head. So the goal here is to try and match the power to the object. And so we have these different objects, a 20-minute walk, a baseball bat, a grain of rice, the distance from the Earth to the sun, the size of a virus, the distance from the Earth to the space station. So this involves some research. So let's see if we can whip this out in a couple minutes together. So which of these things do you think is the biggest? Blow this up a little more. Which is the biggest? So we have 10 to the 11th. And again, these are in meters. And if you're not familiar with a meter, let me stop the share for just a second. Can you see me here? I'm gonna stand up my swivel chair. Oh, that doesn't work very well, kind of. The distance from my foot to my hip in flat shoes is pretty close to a meter. Well, it's a little more than, a meter's a little more than 3 feet, around 39 inches-ish. All right, back to the screen. All right, so we're looking at meters. And they'll be in a different order in yours, but which is the biggest thing in this list? A 20-minute walk, a baseball bat, grain of rice, distance from Earth to sun, distance Earth to space station, virus. Which is the biggest one? Yeah, distance from the Earth to the sun. So I can say, all right, that's got to be this first one right here. And then the next biggest, and if we're unsure, we could always look it up, Earth to space station. So I could always Google distance Earth to Mars on sun, and I'll get a number. They're giving miles. I prefer kilometers. Wikipedia probably has it. Right, so we could double check by just looking online somewhere, and eventually we find it. All right. Oops. Wrong page. And then let's see, 10 to the third. Okay, well, let's see, a baseball bat, a meter, 10 to the third, 1,000 meters? Nah, baseball bat is, like a baseball bat's like up to my hip. Baseball bat's probably 1 meter. So I think this is probably gonna be a 20-minute walk. 10 to the third, 1,000 meters. Anybody know how many meters are in a kilometer? 1,000. How many meters in a mile? I think it's 1,600 meters in a mile. So this would be just like 2/3 of a mile. That's a slow, walking slow, 20 minutes, sure. I can usually walk a mile in like 15. 10 to the 0. 10 to the 0 is really what number? 0 is...
Isn't it just like 1?
It's just 1, yeah, so what's 1 meter? Baseball bat's probably a meter. Yeah. All right, and then 10 to the negative third versus 10 to the negative eighth. What is smaller, a grain of rice or a virus? Yeah, a virus is smaller, so that's going to be down here. Virus, and then a grain of rice. Is that a reasonable size for a grain of rice? So 10 to the negative third, that would be 1,000th of a meter. So let's see, a centimeter is 100th of a meter. 1,000th of a meter would be a millimeter. So is a grain of rice around a millimeter wide? I'd say it's more like 2 millimeters, but close. So we just kind of get a ballpark idea about powers of 10 in terms of meters. I thought it was a fun exercise. I thought it was cute.